Yes, and so it did finish 2-0 as for Mauricio Pochettino. He told the waiting media that it is all about the process, not the results that matter.
The most important is the process. The most important is that today, winning or lose, it's about the process. It's about the player really believe in what we are doing, that they respect us, how we respect them. If we are capable to build that relationship, for sure we are going to have the best player and players that maybe are not today, we will have the possibility to come. We are very open people, but I think it's time. It's about to give time, the process, and the process is going to go. It should.
Herculez Gomez joining us now from sunny Las Vegas ahead of the big fight. But we're here to talk soccer tonight, Herc. That is true. It's even sunnier now that Herc's there, all right. Herc, better performance from the US, even though it was a friendly?
Yes, better performance. Listen, Stevie, Ali, they've been there when you're losing games, when you're not playing well, when the press is on top of you, where there's pressure coming from everywhere. You just need to win. Winning cures all. Yes, there were wholesale changes done by Japan, 11 of them. It's a completely different lineup, but you could only play who's in front of you. And Mauricio Pochettino, the U.S. men's national team, weathered the storm early on and then really, front foot forward, took it to the Japanese team, and they played very well. There was a few changes in personnel, a few changes in the tactical formation. Given who they had in this camp, they moved to a three-man back line with wingbacks, which catered to a Freeman, which catered to a Max Arfston, who isolated himself 1v1 and showed we can do going forward, which catered to an Alejandro Sendejas, which catered in the second half to a Christian Pulisic running in transition at players, and a follower in Balogun, who showed how well he can link up to Christian Pulisic. All in all, for what this camp was, this game was a positive. But I keep hearing, trust the process, trust the process. Mauricio Pochettino is trying to convince us that he knows exactly what he's doing, that it's all part of his master plan, this grand scheme. Farhan Balogun made this camp because Brian White was injured. Your goal scorer and one of your best players on the night was only part of this because somebody else was injured. You didn't have him contemplated as one of the 23. You've not had what I would say is the strongest team, optimal lineup, since you've been here. We're a year out from when they announced Mauricio Pochettino, and he's still trying things. He's still trying personnel. He's still trying tactics. I think for what they had this camp, the 3 center backs was a good idea. But that's one of the weakest positions in my eyes in the U.S. men's national team player pool. So if you're going to bank on 3 center backs going forward, I think you may be asking for a lot, especially with a Tim Ream that's nearing 40 years of age. There were some good performances last night, still very sloppy at the back, and they showed that could be vulnerable in transition against. But certainly for Mauricio Pochettino and what the U.S. men's national team has shown us, it's been their best performance.
Trust the process, Stevie. Subpar results that we saw before this were all part of the plan.
I mean, I was going to try and be positive. But then when he starts talking about it's the process and it's not about winning. If ever a team needed a win, regardless of the process, it was last night against Japan. I mean, that had to be the most important thing. Because winning, as Herc says, it blows away the cobwebs. It makes everybody feel better. It makes the fans and everybody involved with US soccer just feel better. And that's what they needed. They didn't need a process or anything else. They needed a win. And the fact that, particularly the second half, they were dominant, that's what you want to see. It just gives everybody watching something to grasp onto. And that's how I wanted to talk about this. And then he comes out with that. It's not about winning. When you've hardly won at all in the last goodness knows how long, you've got to win. You've got to win. Winning changes everybody's mentality.
You know how you can actually trust the process if you're a player within that group? Winning! Winning! It's by winning. Yeah. When you win, players buy into anything and everything that you're selling as a manager. If you're not winning, if things are not clear-cut, if there is doubt, if there are questions, the longer you go without winning, those doubts and those questions linger and linger and linger. I am going to be positive about the United States. This is, in my estimation, the first time since Pochettino took over this team in which I went, okay, I'm seeing something. They're showing me something. Maybe it had to do with the fact that on Football Americas on Monday night, I pleaded with Mauricio Pochettino. I asked him, you got to go to back three. With this group of players, you got to go with a back three. And he went to a back three. You got to give Christian Pulisic a free role. And he gave him a free role. Thank you. You're welcome, actually. You're welcome, Mauricio Pochettino. I'll resolve the issues. You go and execute them. Here's the thing. When you watch this team play yesterday, there are a couple of important moments and important things to highlight that need to happen in order for this team to be successful from here on out. Christian Pulisic has to have this role in which he can find spaces in behind the defensive midfield line and in front of the opposing back line where he can run at defenders, where he can get on the turn, on the half turn, and run at defenders. That's where he is at his best, and that's how the second goal comes about. That needs to happen. The reason I thought it was important to have a back three is because, yeah, it is a weak position, as Herculez just mentioned. There is a weak position for the United States, so you need cover. 2 is not going to work. 3, you need cover. And that actually gives the freedom to the outside backs who are more interested in going in the attack anyways to be natural outlets. And it gives you width. And when it gives you width, that gives space in the midfield for Pulisic to be able to operate. These things seem to be very obvious to me, and whether we got there by accident or not, whether this was something that was planned or not, whether this was part of the process or not, we finally got to this structure with Mauricio Pochettino against Japan. And if you're going to trust the plan, if you're going to trust the process, winning goes a long way in gaining the trust on the players on the field.
So given that it would appear Mauricio Pochettino is a fan of Football Americas,
Thank you.
He will know that on Football Americas we have been talking for a long time about whether the USA will find their number 9. Have they done that now in Balogun, Herc?
Well, Ricardo Pepi has a lot of equity with this team. With Greg Berhalter, with BJ Callahan, he was around in World Cup qualifying, saving the teams behind. He was around in the final, scoring goals. There's some equity there. But none of that equity matters to Mauricio Pochettino. And Folarin Balogun may have gotten his opportunity because somebody else was injured, but he looked damn good coming off the bench in the first game and looked very good, especially linking up with the most important player this team has in Christian Pulisic. Because this team doesn't have the creativity in the midfield, because they're not going to be a heavy possession-based team, I feel, come next World Cup in the summer, you need a player, you need a 9 who has the ability to create something by himself, has the ability to run the channels, has the ability to link up, be an outlet when he needs to be. Folarin Balogun provided all that. All the skills were on display. He showcased every single thing he had in that bag. I thought he was phenomenal on the night, given what he was asked to do. He can be more dangerous, he can be more clinical, but this is a player that has the ability, 1v1, has the ability to link up with Christian Pulisic and just sniffs out the plays. He's always in danger. It's always danger with Folarin Balogun. I've made so many excuses and reasons why Josh Sargent should be on the field, but Josh Sargent's on the field for 60 minutes, and we could say he doesn't get service. Folarin Balogun comes on, and you can say, well, the U.S. men's national threw caution to the wind, they were pushing numbers forward, but he creates something. He starts last night. There's more danger involved in his play. He's just more catered to play by himself, which is why I think this summer at the Gold Cup, you saw Patrick Agyemang. Because I think deep down, Mauricio Pochettino knows that the chances next summer are going to be limited, and you need a 9 who has that ability to stretch, to come in, be an outlet, absorb, and just be a handful for defenders. I think Folarin Balogun can be that man.
Okay, Herc, we're going to let you enjoy Vegas, and we will speak to you again very soon.